everywhere, GBS.
The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, good morning and welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I am your host, my name is Betty Akuku. Today I have a guest in studio. We are going to be talking about something that I know you are very much interested in, and this is distance marriages. A lot of people get married, and when they say I do, they do not know what life brings in the near future. Sometimes you have to get out of your space to provide your family with a better living. And this may happen that you have to go look for a job outside your own country. Studies may take you that far. Something may just happen in your family to separate you, not in a bad way. You are apart, yet together. Our pastor is going to take us through this conversation. I hope that you stay put and enjoy. Welcome, my guest.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here, and thank you for inviting me again.
Welcome.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Emmanuel Gashanja. I am a pastor. I serve in Mavuno Church, but I'm also executive director of Freedom in Christ Ministries, and I'm so passionate about marriage and parenting, basically family ministries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to have you again, Pastor Emmanuel.
It's good to be here, and thank you for having me.
A lot of people nowadays
Yes.
are so excited about marriage. But there's a package that marriage comes with.
Yes.
And you cannot drop off some.
Yes.
If you need the marriage,
Yes.
you take it to the entire package.
That's true.
Now, there's this package that has the distance marriage, where for our family to be together, as in we have to put all stones and blocks together, somehow we have to separate, you know. I have to let my husband go to another country or county or somewhere else, or I have to let my wife go, do her studies, do these kinds of marriages work.
Wow, yeah. Again, like you said, there are packages, there are different packages that
Yes.
come. And for some, they'll get to face this in their lives. But for many marriages, they don't get to face this. But again, if it happens, one of the things I always tell people, remember that you made a covenant to each other, that you'll be there in the good times and in the tough times, in sickness, in health. So for whatever reason, you separated, whether it's a job, your job has required that you move to the next county and this one's remain in this county, whether it's school, because you just want to better yourself so that you are better for your family, whether it's even health, because sometimes health, can separate people. I've had stories of different people where they were sick and they had to go to a particular hospital to be treated, and the spouse couldn't go there because the spouse still has to kind of maintain the home. For whatever reason it is, remember you made a covenant to each other, and it's important to make a commitment to make even the distance between the two of you work.
To make the distance between the two of you work.
Yes.
What people enjoy to do is to have your spouse by your side, to speak to your spouse face to face, and to have both of you bring up your children together. The children see and enjoy the father figure and the mother figure in their lives. But now when this is not possible for whatever reason, as you put it, what are some of the tactics that this couple need to employ to ensure that this is still in shape and workable?
Excellent. First of all, let me preempt this and put a foundation. My recommendation for couples is that we were created to be one, and being one means being one in mind, spirit, and soul, and body, meaning we are one emotionally.
Yes.
We are one, physically. So that's my recommendation.
Okay.
And in as much as you can, always work it so that the both of you are together. Okay?
How long does it take you to work towards oneness?
You know, the moment you said I do,
Yeah.
you became one.
You became one.
The moment you physically met, or physically, no,
Yes.
were intimate physically,
Yes.
you became one.
You became one.
So automatically, you're already one. It's now working on the unity of that oneness.
Yes.
You know,
Which
for
is
it to
tricky.
work. Which
because
is tricky,
when
yes.
I come to you, just the fact that we have become intimately one
Yes.
doesn't iron out all the differences
does
we
not.
came with into
Yeah.
this union.
Yeah.
So I have my issues and you have your issues, and we are trying to cook them in one pot until they're so homogeneous.
Yes.
You know, such that we do not see one
Yeah.
and two, it's just one.
One, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we have worked on this oneness, then I can be sure that when you go or I go, that oneness has been built.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Then I do not have any struggles.
Yes.
So how long should it take us to work on this until we're so certain that I am Mrs. So-and-so, whether in India, in America, in Israel, in Germany, I am still Mrs. My identity is not lost. How long should that take me?
Well, to become one, or bringing oneness and unity and that homogeneity that you're talking about, I think it takes the rest of your lives together.
Oh, my goodness.
It takes the rest of your lives together, because the truth is, in life, I'll change, my spouse will change. You change, your spouse will change. So you're trying to constantly, fit into the new changes, because life deals you different situations, circumstances.
At different times.
So at different times, you change. There's this season when you were both just together. Then there was the
Yes.
children that came in. Then the
Yes.
children have their different stages, and their different stages make you react differently. Then there's college, then they leave the home, then there's menopause, then there's so many things that come, and you constantly have to adjust to each other. So I think it's you spending the rest of your life together, becoming one. However, when you are apart, there's still some things that you can do, and it takes a lot of intentionality, it takes a lot of focus, it takes a lot of you purposing and planning in order for you, to maintain that oneness even when you are away. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking this, Pastor, is that when I say I do, and when a man says I do to his wife, the assumption and expectation that everybody has is that we will always be together after that. But now time comes that the salary I earn is now all of a sudden too little because the family has grown.
Yeah.
And I'm not able to meet the needs, and my family is now struggling. And for this good reason, I have to step out and better myself, as you put it, to be able to upgrade my family or keep them at that average level.
Yeah.
And so because of this, if there's an opening which is certainly outside, then my family becomes the distance marriage family or the commuter family marriage, where I have to commute to be with my spouse and not on a daily basis. And this is not as lovely as we may wish, but it does happen.
Yeah.
The spouse who is away, and there's one who is remaining with or without the children. And there's so much responsibility. When people are courting, we are used to each other. This is the way we have to stay apart, even though we aspire to be together someday.
That's true.
But now we have become one.
Yeah.
We have now become husband and wife. And I'm of this opinion that the window is now locked to remarry, because this is not death, this is not separation, this is not divorce. It's just a circumstance that may only be for some time.
Yeah.
So how should the spouse, or rather the couple, plan their lives to meet and be able to overcome the challenges? Because I am here to ask you, what challenges are there? So just in case this happens to you, what do? You take your children to the village, you quit your job and join your spouse. What do you do?
Well, again, my biggest recommendation will be do not, or try your best not to, be apart from each other. In fact, even in the job that I was in not too long ago, we could not travel for more than 3 weeks or be away for more than 3 weeks or 4 weeks if you have a spouse.
Okay.
Because they honored that relationship,
marriage, yes.
the marriage, and they understand the intricacies of the marriage.
Yes.
So it was very important that you are not away for more than 3
weeks.
to 4 weeks away from your spouse.
Okay.
If you're going to be away longer, they make sure that your spouse will come with you,
Okay.
or find a way to be there with you, which I thought was very honorable.
Okay.
However, like you said, I remember this situation of a good friend who he was looking for a school, medical school.
Yeah.
And upon getting medical school, the one that actually accepted him was out of the country. Now, med school, you can't do an online course like business administration. You can't
have to be there physically.
You have to be there physically.
Okay.
So this is what he did, and this is how they committed to this. First of all, he took an accelerated course, med school course. So meaning, he was not in school for 5 to 6 years, he was in school for 3 years. But this 3 years was very, very taxing to him, okay? Now, one of the things, like I said earlier on, you have to be very intentional and have a plan and focus on making that plan work. When you're going to be away, I always say there's one thing that you need to first of all work on, and that's communication.
Okay.
Communication. Now, back in our days,
constantly talk and talk. And
yes,
talk.
back
Thank
in
God
our
for
days,
technology.
Yes, back in our days, communication meant I'll write
Post
you
office.
a letter, and then lick my stamp,
Yes.
put it on the envelope, post it in the post office, and
And
after a
wait
week.
it was not 2 weeks, okay.
Well, it depends on where it was going. It depends on the services. But sometimes, at least a week.
Okay.
At least, I say a week, for it to get wherever it was going.
Before you could read what
Before,
he or
first of
she
all, they
has said.
receive,
Yes.
and then read, and then respond. But with technology now, for those iPhone users who like to brag for us, there is FaceTime.
Yes.
We have WhatsApp calls, we have Messenger calls,
Yeah.
and we have Skype and Skype video. We have Zoom calls nowadays.
Yes,
So
yes.
you're spoiled for choice. And one of the things that keeps the two of you connected is always constant communication. How was my day? You need to know how my day was. I need to hear how your day was. I need to be able to express to you how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Oh, babe, I'm missing you. Oh, I wish you were here. Today there was this. That communication, it keeps you, connected with each other. Yeah, it keeps you guys alive. And
You feel like you're together.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And if you do get an opportunity to do like the Skype videos, the Messenger videos, or whatever it is, the
Much
video,
better.
it's much better because now you're seeing your spouse.
Yes.
You're not together, but you're together.
You know the way messages can actually lie? Someone can just write to just make you feel.
Yeah.
But when you Skype, when you have a Zoom call, it's really real.
It's real.
You can see the
Yeah.
other person.
Yeah.
You can see the facial experience.
Yeah.
You can actually see that, their hairstyle is this, their face is like this,
Yeah.
It's not a fiction, it's true, it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You can speak to the children if there are any children.
Exactly. Like, for
You
example...
can find them at home.
Yeah. I'll give you a good example. I'd not seen my sister for 21 years because I traveled out of the country. She traveled to a different country. We went to school, life happened, and for some reason we didn't get to see each other. But because of this Skype call, we were still together.
Yes.
To the time when we met each other,
There was no shock.
there was no shock.
Yes, 'cause
the shock was, I'm seeing you in flesh,
Yes.
but I know her, I know her husband, I know her children, you know, we have constant communication,
Yeah.
and, you know, they update me, I update them where I'm at.
Yeah.
So in like manner, we can do the same for our marriages, you know, just to maintain that connection and, you know, just to update each other. And there's just something about that, you know, just makes you feel,
Yes.
at the end of the day, you know,
He's
he
around,
called
she's
me.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said I'm pretty because you did your eyebrows for him, you
I
know, just so
know,
that he
to
can
do the
notice.
video call.
Exactly. So there's, I guess it's, again, it's plan. The biggest thing is communication. Make sure communication is, you know, it's tight. You say, okay, there's this time difference. Think about everything. There's time difference. This is when I'll be available. This is
Yeah,
when you'll
yeah.
be available.
Yes.
Let's make intentionality that, you know, we'll have a date with each other, you know,
Yeah,
over the
because
phone.
actually, if you don't communicate, if someone calls you and finds that you are not picking up your calls or you are offline,
Yeah.
you know, they will be like, so what's going on behind, you know, someone keeps thinking of some negative
Yeah,
stuff, like,
yeah.
how come he's not picking right now?
Yeah.
What time is it? So you get
Yeah.
so disturbed.
Yeah.
And all these things, I think, happen, Pastor, because these guys, they didn't have such a firm foundation to know each other so well, and they didn't work very well also on their oneness. That's why they still are trying to separate this and this. So and so is like this. You know, you did not really get swallowed into one.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you still have a lot of suspicions about
Yeah,
your spouse. So you're
yeah.
thinking, it's 10. What is he doing right now?
But you
How
see,
come he's not
sometimes-
picking my call?
Sometimes I don't feel like it's the oneness issue. The truth is, I can go on the other side, and what I thought
Yeah.
I would experience is not what I'm experiencing. So I get challenges, and the challenges will of course affect now that very important thing called communication. I thought I would have money to, you know, Skype and internet to Skype. If I'm going to another African country, like for example, if I was moving to up north here to Ethiopia, the internet is not as good as it is
Kenya.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now doing the video calls becomes a difficult thing. I remember when I traveled and I was in the Abu Dhabi airport, and I tried to do a video call with my wife just to let her know I'm there, and of course show her some of the airport how it
know.
looks, because she hasn't been to that particular one.
Yes.
So that's what that's our thing. You know, so I wanted
Yeah,
to show her.
yeah.
So all I had to do was take pictures and then, you know, send them back.
Yeah.
But there was a challenge with the internet. So I didn't expect that. I expected it being a very developed place. This is what I'll find. So sometimes you can be you can be very connected, but life happens and you're thrown a curveball, and then you have to figure out how to adjust to that curveball. So I feel
So
that
such
the
kind of
oneness is
challenge-
very good.
Yes.
But
This
also
is
the
not an issue
ability,
of-
the ability for you to just think on your feet, and again, intentionality to work on, you know, finding a way to.
Yeah, you see
do
now,
that.
if there is oneness,
Yeah.
then there is trust.
Yes, there is.
There is trust.
Yeah.
So even if you call at a certain hour when you expect that this guy or this babe needs to be available to receive your call and
Yeah.
talk to you,
Yeah.
then the issue of trust
Yeah.
cements it.
Yeah.
Such that, I mean, something may have just happened, so he will find the missed calls and
Yeah.
call back, you know.
Yeah.
He will just handle it after some time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But when there's no trust, you know, suspicions and many things come into you, and you're not able to deal with them because you have not yet settled 100% into trusting this person. Pastor, what are some of the challenges? Because there are men, or rather even women, who cannot stay from their spouses for that long without engaging into intimacy. So your husband travels. Your husband travels.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be out there studying, like the example you were giving us, for 3 years or so. So you have lived with your spouse, and you know that this guy, anytime he's here, I mean, 2 days won't pass, you know. But now he's there 3 years. How is he surviving? What are you supposed to do?
Well, that's a tough one. That's a really, really tough one. And again, this is why I always propose to whoever is going, if there's an option to stay, stay.
If there's
And
an option
I
to
always
stay.
feel like there's an option to stay.
Oh,
it's
really?
just sometimes we want our desires more
Yes.
than, you know, than the bigger picture, which might be the family and keeping the family together and fighting through it, whatever its situation it is together. Sometimes our desires supersede the most important thing and we go. So if you are out there, I always say this because even a husband who has been taken to jail or a wife who has been taken to jail,
Yes.
they have this thing where you have the conjugal visit.
Yes.
So, because they understand that these
It is
people,
required.
there's a need
Yes.
that they need met.
Yes.
So in your relationship, if you know you're going to be away for 3 years, then I think you should plan that you travel back home every so often, or she, if she's the one who has remained, comes and visits you
To where you are.
where you are. It's very, very important. I remember, like, for organizations like, you know, international organizations like the UN, every 5 weeks they give you
break.
an R&R, which is for you to go and spend time, one, resting, but if you're a family person, you go and spend time with your family. So I remember both my parents, you know, my mom went to Somalia. She was working for UNOSOM first. And while she was there, every 5 weeks they came and they would interact and, you know, they would be together.
Yes.
My dad got a job in the same place. So when they were in the same compound, of course,
Yes,
yeah,
life happens.
the only people who are missing out is,
It's you
is the
guys.
kids. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's important to plan those moments where you'll visit each other. It's harder if they've gone outside the country, but if you're in the next county or 2 counties over,
Very
if you're in
easy,
Kisumu,
manageable.
oh, please make a point. I have a good friend right now. He travels from Makueni to Kiambu County almost every weekend. It's tough. It's
Such
tough.
a sacrifice.
For such a sacrifice, yeah.
Yes. But now the people who reason like this, Pastor, why should I travel every weekend? The reason I went that far is to look for the money. We are spending the same money again on the road all the time. How about we wait for certain times? What do you say to such kind of people? Is it that they do not prioritize their family greater and better than their desires, as you said? What exactly do you think is making them to make such kinds of decisions?
I think people underestimate.
They do
You
underestimate.
really underestimate the power of being away. You know, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. It sounds so beautiful, but the truth is sometimes out of sight, out of mind.
True.
You
True.
get-
And when you are out,
Yeah.
you are actually meeting other people.
Yes.
You meet other people who are to you who could be better than your wife. You see, now when you are away, your eyes open. You start missing your wife or your husband, and they're far from you. And men are very weak in their side. So when they see, and the other one is away,
Yeah.
they find a way to solve, you know, their emotional problem, and they get their conjugal need sorted,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and they cover it up like, you know, she won't know. Whatever you don't know doesn't kill you, doesn't
Yeah.
eat you up.
Yeah.
So they cover it up this way.
Yeah.
And without knowing,
Yeah.
gradually, this thing is growing up, growing up.
Yeah.
You're getting to find, you know, like stolen waters are very sweet.
Yeah.
So you try once and you upgrade.
Yeah.
Why? Because, I mean, how can you live a whole year without a woman? And you are a married man. You have never eaten, if you have never chewed sugarcane, you don't know the sweetness of sugarcane.
Yeah.
So if you hear people conversing and saying, I miss sugarcane, you're
Yeah.
like, which country do you guys come from and what is sugarcane?
Yeah.
But if you have chewed
Yeah.
sugarcane
Yes.
and you know how to extract the juice and the
yes.
sweetness from
Yes.
it, and then now you have got to stay away from it,
Yeah.
and you're seeing sugarcane in other people's farms.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Won't you steal?
Well,
And you have to work in your farm back at home?
let's just say the temptation becomes
Yes.
easier to fall into.
It becomes
It
easier.
becomes so much easier. But you see, the thing is, it's
How
not.
do you deal?
It's not just even for the men. You know what I've come to learn is that your wife or the woman
Yes.
is so in need of this emotional connection
Exactly.
that if you're not giving it to
Her.
her,
She'll
then
find it.
guess what? There is somebody at work who's noticing,
Yes.
and there's somebody at work who's willing to give her that. Now, they might not be physical,
Yes.
but the fact that they've been emotionally connected,
It
she has
starts like
checked
that.
out from
It
this.
starts like that.
In fact, that emotional connection is actually cheating. It is.
Yes.
It is. Infidelity. So it's important to put the boundaries and put the walls that will say this is a no-go zone. One of the things I say is for the one who stays, hopefully you have your group of friends, accountability partners,
Yes.
whether it's a life group, a cell group from church, whatever it is, or it's just a group of friends, and you say, this is our common friends.
Yes,
you guys
yes.
will keep me accountable. Come and visit me often.
Yes.
And just to ensure that I'm
I
okay.
like that. I like that.
And for him, he also has to be very intentional where he is. Now, it will be harder for the one who has left because now you've left your
Yes.
foundation point.
Yes.
So it becomes easier for this one who remains, whether it's the man or the woman, to be able to
Than the one who has
surround
gone.
themselves than the one who has gone, because
Yeah.
that one is setting up new whatever's,
By the time you get a village around you, by
Exactly,
the time you
it
make
takes a
new
while.
friends,
Yeah.
But for this one, I like that bit of having to create a support group,
Yeah.
a group that you are accountable to,
Yeah.
because you cannot just make that sole decision and say, you know what, honey, I'm not going to cheat on you. As you leave me, you shall find me. The kids will be here. I mean, you can walk out on the kids and do your own stuff outside and come back, You can go and seek the emotional need
Yes.
and come back sorted,
Yeah.
without the kids knowing.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So having that accountability group is really important.
It's very
As in,
important.
guys, come and visit, come, let's do this together. But how long can this be done? How sustainable is this, Pastor?
Well, again, I do not know. I don't think there's a correct math on how long you can stay away. Again, that's why I propose always avoid. Like, I will not let my wife
Go for money.
for money. No. They say, let's downgrade where we are staying at so that we have a little extra. I will not go away from her for the same reason. Just because I just know how hard it can be. First of all, if I'm the one living, whoever is staying with the kids, you are working as a single parent. That is already very, very difficult. Managing the home, managing the children, managing everything, and then managing yourself and the work and the business or whatever it is that you have out there.
And the emotions.
And emotions. It's just such a huge...
And the thoughts that come to you.
Exactly.
And the suspicions that
Yeah.
dawn on you every single day.
Yeah.
And your dreams.
Yeah.
And your imaginations.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah. So for the other one, it actually becomes easier because even though they're only focusing on whatever it is that they've gone to do, if it's a job, or they're focusing on school, whatever it is that they've gone to do.
They still
but
have
the
some little
biggest
side on the
thing
side.
that they are struggling with is missing their family.
Yes. Okay. Though we are taking a very partial water break, we are coming back to continue with this discussion. If you're not following us, our SMS line is 21144. Please be part of this conversation. Let's know what you're saying about distance marriages. It could be workable, but how long is this sustainable? Stay with us.
People have dominance over themselves. Why? Daddy, no money. Give me money, I'll buy for you. Daddy, I say I don't have money. Hey, I know, Daddy.
Can the Ethiopian change his skin? Or the leopard its spots?
예수님이 우리의 모든 죄값을 다 지불하시기 때문에 예수님 다 이루었다라고 말씀하셨잖아요.
So Jesus paid for all the wages of our sin. That's why he could say it is finished.
Yesu alipa mshahara wa dhambi deni zetu lote, ndiposa akasema kwamba imekwisha.
하나님은 슈퍼컴퓨터와 같은 분이에요.
Everyone, God is like the supercomputer.
Upendo wa Mungu ni kama hii supercomputer.
Kulipa is now easy with EasyPay. When you shop at your local supermarket, fuel your car, dine out, book a flight, make other payments or pay your bills, you want simplicity, security, and convenience. It's accepted everywhere you see the EasyPay sign. And it works with other mobile networks too. What's more, you can withdraw your cash at the supermarket till where you see the cashback logo. Get your Equitel line or download the Easy Banking app today because Kulipa is now easy with EasyPay.
We're going to be in the kitchen learning how to do a few tricks. You're going to get the chance to cook this in your homes because it's very quick, it's very healthy, and it's very delicious. It's really nice. I love it.
I know.
My name is Zawadi. At Mahanaim, I studied to qualify for the IGCSE through the Cambridge International Educational Program.
We Mahanaim International High School students enjoy extracurricular activities such as joining GBS TV Club, Taekwondo, cultural dance, orchestra, swimming, foreign languages, community service, and much more. I believe this unique experience I gained here will go a long way into strengthening the future me.
The teachers and other ministers at Mahanaim spared no pain in running with us until the end of the mile, until we secured all of our goals.
And that's how I passed my IGCSE exams.
Mahanaim International High School cares about my future. Beyond our education, Mahanaim nurtures us to have bright and healthy mind so that we could become great future leaders.
Good morning and welcome to Chungu cha Jamii.
The reason is your home is the way it is, is because of the way you have led your home.
Wife material.
If you want a real wife, you have to go back to Shago.
Okay.
And no one can date a broke guy.
Really? That is how we are wired.
Yes!
Man is the one who should provide.
Who said that man should be the one to provide?
He made it your fault.
Betty.
I
was like, what?
Really?
But she.
You marry for companion, not for money, not for kids.
Is there a man that is not enough?
Really humbled me, cut me deep, and just gave me a big slap on my cheek.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Christianity is based on love and forgiveness.
Sometimes people will tell you that this is who you are, and sometimes you're like, no, I'm not like her.
It has to be in agreement. This is what my viewer is looking out for.
Yes.
Viewer, I hope you have really had a lovely and educative time. Thank you so much.
How many of you use your real names on Facebook? Wengine ni sweetie pretty.
You must succeed in being an eagle and not a chicken. I'm seeing myself owning the biggest media house in Africa. Yes, I could employ you, in fact. Yes.
All right, now it is going to another direction. But that's a question. When you are born and when you grow up, now you do the work. You become a person who likes the country. You understand, right? I mean, not getting a job at Kenya Power, right?
And you know what? Who you are online is exactly who you are offline. And who you are offline is who you are online.
네, 여러 군데 가서 강연을 많이 해보는데
So I've been to many places to give lecture.
우나엘레 와사 이러면
Whenever I say "Unai lewa sasa,"
눈썹으로 인사를 대답을 해요.
they respond with their eyebrows.
Healing, hope, restoration. Amazing stories of real people like you who have triumphed over tragedy. Watch Turning Point International and be inspired to reach your turning point.
It really ministers to the soul of man, and as a pastor, you benefit a lot because people learn and they learn how to cope with issues probably you don't even deal with in your sermons.
It's not reality TV, it's real life TV.
Welcome back, viewer. Our SMS line is 21144. We are still on with the conversation, distance marriages. Pastor Emmanuel is here to take us through this. So, Pastor, you're saying you wouldn't do that.
Yes.
Distance relationship or other marriages. You didn't do that. Why won't you?
Well, I think one of the biggest is I married my wife because I wanted a life companion.
Okay.
Someone who I'm going to do life with.
Mm-hmm.
And I always strongly believe that the two of us can always figure it out. I am of this thought that, everything else that we chase is the money, the fame, fortune, the career. It does not supersede the relationship that we have.
Yes.
Which is, one of the, like I say, marriage was the first institution that God created. And it's our duty to honor that.
Yes.
Everything else came after marriage. So everything else is a by the way, so it's important, one, that we are together and we figure out life together. I'll give you a good example.
Yes.
I've had so many people say, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, so in order to whatever. And it doesn't mean that even doing a distance relationship. For example, you are pursuing a career and you're ignoring spending time with your spouse. And marriages break apart even then.
Yes.
Imagine you're together. It's already difficult because you're not intentionally working on this thing.
Yes.
Then your marriage is separating.
Even though you
How
live
much more
together.
worse is it when you are apart? And that's a big thing. And we have realized, like my wife and I, that we have some moments where she gets crazy busy, I get crazy busy. And after a while, we realize, I don't even know what's going on in your life. And we're in the same home.
Yes.
In the same room, in the same bed, So that automatically, you're just like, you have to reconnect with each other. And imagine if that happens when you're together.
She's in Saudi Arabia.
She's in Saudi Arabia. I am here.
Yes. How about
hustling?
that?
And because I'm a pastor, in the evenings I have to go to whatever, so I'm not calling like I need to call. So I don't advocate it for this reason. I always say, and there's a couple of couples who I really admire the way they do things.
Yes.
One of them, I remember they shared a story of how they used to live with a group of friends in Gumo. And one day he realized they were struggling in their finances because they wanted to invest, they wanted to get ahead. And so they realized that the only people who were doing kawa job as opposed to their friends who were engineers, doctors, and whatever. So they could afford that lifestyle and still get ahead.
Yes.
So this couple actually chose to move to Eastlands. And when they chose to move to Eastlands, what they were making substantially became like they were very rich, because now what they're paying in Eastlands as opposed to here,
Is
much less.
Yes.
And being much less, it means you have more spending money, so you can do investments. Now, when they tell you, when they tell us of stories of, now they've purchased a home, they've purchased land, then they even downgraded their children to public schools, to public schools, and then when you ask them, why would you do that? You know how public schools, so they say it's all about how you raise your children once they come home and how you make them feel about the education. Those children are doing well in public school, Here I am still barely making it. I feel like I have a straw, so that I don't drown.
Yes.
Because my children are in what do you call it? In a private school.
Yeah.
I have to live in a certain side of the city. There's some things that you do together
to actually,
make intentional changes.
Pastor, you're saying that people had better put down their desire a little bit and concentrate on their focus, on their purpose, which is the marriage.
That's true.
The desire doesn't have to supersede. It's because people have interchanged these things. That's why they have to do the distance marriages.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it basically, what are people chasing? To earn a better living, right? Yeah. It's not that everyone is going out to start a job.
Yeah.
People have been working, because now there is this couple where the man was already working, earning some money, and his current company wanted a highly qualified person than him.
Yeah.
So he was laid off, and they thought like the man can go and study abroad to come back with the certificates that his company required. So having conversations around it, they felt like, no, it's not worth the family. So we'll stay and have the family together. But maybe a few years down the line, like 3, 4, they realized they're not able to make ends meet. So they are now struggling, and they are really, really struggling, that somebody now has to step out and do something. Do you think this is a better reason? They just needed to adjust, or this guy needed to actually go out now? Because initially they were like, no, we don't have to do this. But later, life is too difficult that now the man needs to go. Should this lady allow the man? Do you think they should get to this position where the man now needs to go, or do they need to adjust?
Well, that's a very difficult one, because the truth is, there's moments where I feel like there's some sacrifices you'll have to make, whether it's the man going, or sometimes even thinking very simple. A good friend who life happened to them, high-flying job, he opted to go and, make mandazis.
Yeah.
And make food and cook food, and this was while I lived in Dar es Salaam, and they called them mamantili. so anyway, so he started cooking food and started cooking mandazis. The more he did it, he realized there's so much profit in this. Now the little money he got, he kept reinvesting back. He opened a small hotel. That small hotel, would provide now breakfast for guys going to work, and he just became creative with it. And now he's blossoming. But it took him swallowing his pride, because everybody knew him as this high-flying guy who drove this certain car, lived in a certain side of the city, and he was just like, you know what, I need to put food on the table. So, babe, if it just means that I bring milk and bread every day,
that's what we'll have.
That's what I'll do.
Yes.
Until I make it happen. But he swallowed his proud status, started from the bottom. And now he has a thriving. In fact, he opened in different spaces. In fact, he got so many ideas to do deliveries in offices.
What do you need to hear, Pastor, for you to come from that level to this level for the sake of your family? What do you need to hear?
I don't know if you need to hear anything. Because
you know what surrounds you is the people with high expectations.
That's true.
And what you're hearing is, what will they say? I have to do this. So what is the different thing that must land on your ears before you just decide, you know what? I'm not going to listen to all this. I'll listen to just this one, and I will get from up here to down here and start again for the sake of my family.
My question is to you then will be, who are you living for? You understand? What are you living for? If I had listened to many people, today I would not be on the path that I'm in, making a difference in the marriages and in people's lives. Because people would say, you come from a certain family, you come from this, whatever, this is what you need to be.
There's this caliber you have to keep.
In fact, I have very close relatives who talk down at me and, kind of backbite me because of what I'm doing.
Yes.
But here is the truth. If today God came for me and called me home, I would be very, very, very pleased because I have left a legacy. And knowing that, in 2016, there were 10 marriages that should have broken up. And today they're together. You see? So I've left a legacy. And because they're together, then that means the generations after them have been impacted because of that time that I put in there. And that's more worth it than any possessions that I would get in life. So I ask them, who are you living for?
Yes.
Are you living for the masses? Are you living to please everybody? Are you living to, raise this family and raise the next generation? Are you living for this wife? Are you living for God? Who are you living for? And you need to and you need to get your priorities right. Because if you live for the masses, then that's all you'll ever do. You'll always be stressed. You'll always bow to peer pressure.
Yes.
That whole thing that I have to drive this big car.
Yes.
I have to live in this part of town, and
there's so much pressure on that.
And it's an unfortunate thing. Almost every couple that comes to me, it is because of that desire that they're breaking up.
The desire is the greatest thing here that needs to be dealt with.
Yes.
Because it's the desire that will make you not to get up from there to come down here. You do not have the muscle to get down.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to look for and wear the muscle to get up. I mean, if you are coming down, do you need any muscles? No. But everybody needs the muscle to get up the mountain, to get up, Small babies are weak, and so they need the muscle to get up and run and jump and do all those crazy things.
Yeah.
But to come down, you don't need any muscle.
Yeah.
So because everybody is struggling to get a muscle, you feel weird and strange to want to come down with all the muscle you have gathered and gained. Looking at the distance marriages, though workable and doable, I wonder what your advice would be. Much as you have said that you wouldn't do it, and for whatever reason, everybody should try, to do something else and not go that path.
Yeah.
Give us your parting shots, Pastor, because you're out of time.
Oh, wow.
For those who must do it, or those who find themselves in that way, how long can they do it? Should they decide, okay, let's do it for 5 years, and then after we will come home and do what? Yes.
I would say for those of you who plan to be apart for whatever reason, I believe in plan. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So plan. This is how long you're going to be. This is what we are achieving out of this. If I'm moving because of a better job, how am I working to get you there, or how am I working to get you and the children there? If I'm going to school, then what am I doing after this that is going to benefit the family? And have a plan and a set whatever, and agree on that plan. Be intentional and committed to and focused on making that plan work. You know, when I say that, I mean the communication aspect, the visiting each other aspect. What are you going to talk about? How are you going to talk about it? So that you ensure that you are having that communication. And then the biggest thing is, how are you supporting each other where you are? For the one who has gone abroad, how are you supporting, and what kind of support do they need? For the one who's remaining, how are you supporting them? Because if it's the one who has remained with the children, then there's a lot of dynamics. So you need to have figured out a system that will work around them so that they are able to survive or to thrive in the season that you were not there. So again, plan to communicate, plan to support each other, and just plan to visit each other. It's very important. And when you visit each other, ensure that it's true quality time that you're spending with each other.
Good. That was perfect and awesome, Pastor.
Thank you.
I really learned a lot.
Amen.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
I
having
wish
me.
to see you again soon.
Excellent.
Thank you, viewer, for having been with us on this episode of Distance Marriages. One of the things that stood out for me is that for you, the spouse who is being left at home, find some support group, some people you are going to be accountable to help you work out all these situations that are going to be around you for this period of time. And the other was, you have to plan as much as you can, as much as possible, to make it workable. So truly, distance marriages are workable, they are doable, you need to plan. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Betty Akuku. I have been your host. See you next time.